It is early morning. We've got rain coming tonight, and it looks like, according to DTN, our weather app that we're using, it looks like it's going to rain from now until about the 4th of July. So we're going to push as hard as we can today, get as many acres in as we possibly can to try and cover as much ground as possible. We've still got some corn that we want to get in, but for other reasons, mainly because we've got a tile issue and we're waiting on fertilizer. We think we've got about 200 acres that are going to be tough to get in. Probably not going to get in before that rain hits for the weekend. But right now we're going on soybeans. We're going to get as much soybeans in as we can today. I'm going to check over the planter while this thing warms up, and we're going to hit it.
Coming out of the Rapid City Regional Airport. There you go.
I'm backing up to a tile inlet. I got to get as close as I can to it without running it over. Wait for it. There it is. You can get right on top of it. Now, set the planter down, and we're off. That's a beautiful thing. 5 to 4, if you don't need me here, I'm just going to fold this thing up and head over to the 80. Everyone is busy today. Gotta beat the rain.
15 hours a day, just pretty much in Black Rifle coffee. You know.
And heading home for seed. Unfortunately, you guys are only getting to see one piece of this whole farming puzzle that we've got going on right now. Right now, we've got the co-op out on a certain field. They're spreading fertilizer for us. We've got a guy in the field cultivator chasing them to work that fertilizer, that nitrogen specifically, into the soil. And then right behind them, I come along. Of course, I'm planting beans right now, so I won't try to explain that too much. But we don't have fertilizer going on our bean ground that I'm planting right now. But behind the bean ground, and what I'm planting, we have a guy coming with a land roller to roll it, to push all the lumps down, push any little rocks down, make the land smoother so that it's a lot better to harvest this fall. It makes harvest a lot easier for us. And then behind that, we've got a sprayer coming with pre-emerge, and that sprayer has to cover all that ground today before the end of the day if it's going to rain. We've got 5 vehicles or 5 machines going right now to keep this whole puzzle moving. In the meantime, I need help with the seed tender most of the time when I've got to fill this thing. On top of that, somebody's got to jump in the rock picker every once in a while and cover a field. And we're moving fast. We've got rain coming tonight. We're doing everything we can, but at some point it may get to a point where the planter has to stop just because everything behind me won't have time to catch up before the rain hits. So I hope that doesn't happen. We've got enough manpower right now. The machines are all moving. It's just a matter of synchronizing it all so that we can make it work. Clear as mud? Knocked one down. Five to 7. Yeah, I was just gonna say, you better boogie over there because I'm chasing you down.
Yeah, I know.
I've gotten these row cleaners to the point where, for the most part, I like them. The purpose of them is to knock those clumps out of the way before the row unit gets to those clumps. That way the row unit has more even spacing, hopefully has a better ride and does a better job of planting and being consistent. By the way, there goes Jim and the digger, or the field cultivator, whichever one you want to call it. So anyway, I got the row cleaners working pretty well, but the issue that I've been having is that these ones in the center right here, they're doing their job. They're throwing the root balls and the residue out of the way, but unfortunately they kick them into the side of the track system and the tracks pinch them, wrap them around and throw them up on top of the row units back here that I can't see, and I've actually had them plug up a couple of times. So I've been able to watch it here on my monitor. I've got this one pointed down. What happens is the root balls and the residue ends up piling up right here to the point where it puts so much pressure on it, it starts pushing on the gauge wheels on the rows. And then, switch my screen here, back to that one, or I can split it and I can watch both at the same time. That's probably what I should do. But what happens then is those gauge wheels quit turning and it just starts sliding on the dirt, and then we get all kinds of terrible planting because it's just dropping seeds all willy-nilly without proper placement. So I've got the one AgCam pointing down on the tracks there, and there you can see some of it starting to pile up. If you guys can see that, it is starting to pile up a little bit. Now 80% of it falls off every time I get to the end of the field and turn around, but it does concern me a little bit, especially I don't see the left side, so I'm thinking I should go back there and move that other camera so that I can watch both sides of the tracks to really know what's going on back there, so that I can tell if we're gonna have problems or not. Okay, looking back here, checking our depth and looking at how we're doing, it looks like we're doing a pretty decent job. It's never quite as pretty on the corn residue as it is on the soybean residue, just because there is more residue, which really is a good thing actually, to have that residue to protect the soil a little bit. But you can see here is the issue that I'm talking about. It's throwing that residue up, and sometimes it'll build up so big it starts piling up on top of the actual tracks. Now those row cleaners are not doing anything wrong, they're actually doing their job. The difference is that where most guys have wheels there, or tires, I have tracks that actually are pinching that residue, slinging it around the back bogey wheel on the tracks, and throwing it on top of the row units. So I don't know if there'd be some sort of a shield that a guy could build or put on there to help that out. But for right now, I'm just gonna move those AgCams and set them in a place where I can monitor that from the cab in case it gets worse. Luckily, these things are just magnetic, so they move around and swivel really easily. I'm starting to wonder if the sound of that CCS fan is the reason that I have such horrible tinnitus in my ears. Or it could be from driving a race car for 20 years without any earplugs. I don't know. Oh, I think that'll do it. How awesome is that? Not the fact that it throws residue on top of them, but the fact that I can watch them. That's pretty awesome. How neat is that? Look at it. Just look at it. You can tell it's an AgCam because of the way it is. Go ahead, Seven.
Yeah, you didn't want to keep that part of a row of corn there, did you, I hope?
Nope, you can bury that.
10-4.
5 to 7. I will be jumping across the ditch here in a few minutes. Do you want to finish up, or when you get to the other end, just do some end rows for me, and I'll pick a spot over there to run the end rows on the north and south end, and then I'll just start from the ditch over here?
Yeah, when I get to the south end now, I'll be able to do all the south end rows.
Oh, perfect. I'll just pull in this corner over here by the hay ground then, and then I'll just work along the ditch and back to that corner.
Sounds good.
Lunchtime. How are you? Good. There goes Jim.
And 3/4. Soybean futures July 8.21 and 3/4 down 18 cents.
Gotta fill up again. Just filled up again. 5 to 7. If you want, I can tell you right where there's some rocks. I mean, you know already where that one is against the ditch on the east side, but I kind of kept track of some on the west side. And back home again. Switch this thing back over to corn. Just because of the rain coming and everything the way that it's going, we're gonna switch and get everything that we can on that 100 acres south of here that's way too wet, where we need the drain tile fixed. If you watched the previous video, we're gonna go in there and get the acres, get every acre that we possibly can out of there. There's gonna be a bunch that we don't get because of that drain tile issue, but we're gonna get what we can because it looks like, to be totally honest with you, it's gonna start raining and basically rain every couple of days all the way into June. I mean, if that happens, I'm not sure what we will do. I don't know how much we're going to plant for soybeans after that point, but we definitely will not be planting any corn after that point. So we are kind of thinking that this afternoon is going to be our last day of planting corn, so we're going to move down there and get everything that we possibly can. Alright, we are switched back over to corn. We are full of seed, we are full of diesel, I'm full of baloney, and I'm ready to rock. We're gonna get this last 60 to 70 acres, whatever is left down there that we can get in without having to drive through the mud. And then we're probably just gonna watch it rain for a few days, maybe a few weeks, the way it sounds. I see a John Deere planter, and a John Deere sprayer, and a John Deere tractor. All kinds of stuff going on.
Seen a job retreat, got down on my knees.
Well, that didn't take long to get raindrops on the window, but that's the west, so I think we're clear. And according to radar here, it isn't going to last very long, but what I'm worried about is this stuff coming out here in a few hours. So as long as I beat that, and we get these next 50 acres or so in, we're going to be happy. Happy-ish, somewhat happy, content.
Whiskey River, take my mind.
No, it never really came down. It just got everything all dirty. Well, that finishes off this piece for now on what we can get anyway. There's not supposed to be any water standing here. There normally is not. Not good, not cool. Gotta fix that, or get a grass waterway in there or something. Anyway, we're done with this. I'm gonna head back home, towards home, possibly stub in a couple, 1 or 2 acres on some other fields where some corners might be dry enough now. Dad's gonna check on that for me while I'm on my way home, and we'll see what I got. Hold it. Hey. Are you okay? Are you okay? Well, it's got to be making it a little bit smoother anyway. I figure I'll have to drive slow, but I think this is better than churning all the moisture up. So we got this 2-acre corner here that's always wet and is sometimes questionable to farm. We figure...
I'm gonna have to switch them wheels back to get out of here. I ain't gonna get out of here.
Oh, 10-4, I can help you do that. We figure if we get a half a stand in here, it's better than having a weed patch right now. What the heck is that thing? Do you guys see that? What the heck is it? Well, that's gonna do it for today. I think we're probably done planting corn. We're gonna see what the rains bring, but everything is showing a 100% chance of rain most of the weekend. 2 to 3 inches is what most of the estimates are. And then it basically rains every 1 to 3 days for the next 3 weeks. So we're gonna see what we end up with here when we get back in the field to see if we actually finish that last quarter section of corn that we want to put in or not, or whether that's just gonna end up going to soybeans. We're not sure, but if it goes to soybeans, it's not a huge deal. We're all right. We got quite a bit of corn in. 90-some% of our corn in, so we'll be back with soybeans. We're gonna be able to spend some time in the shop, catch up on some other stuff here while we wait out the rain, and that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. This guy had better move over. See, because it's a cow.